My name is Kelly, and this is a story I never thought I'd tell. I grew up as the only child in a wealthy family, surrounded by luxury but also loneliness. Designer clothes, top schools, and international holidays were my norm, but I craved something deeper. Being the heir made me a prize, not a person, and I longed for a love that saw me for me. Then I met him at a wedding, a handsome stranger who smiled at me from across the garden. He was everything I never knew I wanted, mysterious, calm, and genuine. In that moment, I realized he didn't know my name or my wealth, and that made me want to know him more. What followed were the most exciting weeks of my life. We went on long drives along the coast, shared ice cream on cold nights, and spoke for hours about dreams and silly things like what animal we'd be if we weren't human. He made me feel ordinary in the best way, just Kelly, not the rich girl or heiress. So when he proposed just 4 months later, I said yes without hesitation. But what I didn't know was that everything had been orchestrated. Later, I learned his parents had pressured him to pursue me, knowing who I was and what I was worth. They whispered dreams of a future where he'd never worry about money, where success was guaranteed as long as he married me. He convinced himself he could grow to love me, thinking maybe love would come after marriage. But love doesn't work that way. Our wedding was the kind you see in magazines. White roses, a string quartet, custom everything. Everyone was smiling, except him. That night, as we lay in our honeymoon suite, he was gentle. He kissed my shoulders, whispered that I looked beautiful, undressed me slowly with a quiet tenderness that made me think this was real. We made love that night, slow, passionate, soft. It was my first time, and he held me like I was fragile. In the dim candlelight, it was easy to believe we were in love. But later, as he turned his back and said goodnight, I noticed the coldness return. He wasn't unkind. He just wasn't there. At first, it was just a feeling, like a shadow lurking at the edge of my happiness. Then came the sleepless nights, waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. to find him on the balcony texting someone. His face dimly lit by the screen, expression unreadable. I softly asked who he was messaging, and he said, "Just work." But there was a softness in his tone I didn't recognize. It wasn't the voice he used with me. Some nights I pretended to be asleep, hearing him whisper a name, Julia. I saw him delete a message quickly when I walked in, and once I caught a glimpse of a heart emoji before he locked the screen. It became clear that I wasn't the only one in his heart. From that moment, I saw everything differently. He'd always been distant, but now I understood why. He wasn't emotionally unavailable. He was emotionally taken. I started noticing little things. No pet names, forgotten anniversaries, zoning out during dinner. Some nights, I'd hear him whisper her name in his sleep, Julia. It pierced through me like a knife. I tried to become what he needed, dressing differently, cooking his favorite meals, pretending to be okay. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't become someone else. And I shouldn't have had to. One night, I stood in front of him, hands shaking, and asked, "If I wasn't from a rich family, would you have still married me?" He was silent for so long I thought he wouldn't answer. Then he whispered, "I don't know." That broke something in me. I had always feared the truth, but hearing it made everything clearer. He didn't hate me, but he never chose me, and I didn't want to be anyone's second best. We stopped pretending after that. He moved to the guest room and I stopped hosting brunches. The mansion felt colder than ever. One day, I opened his laptop and found a saved draft. Never sent. "Julia, I hope you're doing okay. I still think about you." That was the moment I knew. Even if she never came back, she lived in every corner of his heart, and there was no room for me. 2 weeks later, I asked for a divorce. He looked relieved. Not because he wanted to hurt me, but because he could finally stop pretending. We signed the papers quietly. No drama, no blame, just two people who were never meant to be. I left the mansion with nothing but my clothes and a suitcase of books. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Sometimes the deepest wounds come from love that never had a chance. But I believe someone out there is waiting to love me fully, truthfully, beautifully. And I won't settle for less ever again. If this story touched your heart, leave a comment or just a heart emoji. And if you'd like to hear more real, emotional stories like Kelly's, hit subscribe. At English Story Booth, we share stories that feel real because they are.